Hey everybody, it's Top 5 Friday. I'm Ben from the Bonehead podcast, and every Friday we get together and we do Top 5 something, probably to do with Blood Bowl, because that's what we do. So last week we looked at the top 5 throw teammate throwers. Now we're looking at the top 5 thrown teammates. So last week was the gun, this week the ammunition. So basically we are going to have a look through what I think are the top 5 players who deserve to be picked up by a troll and thrown at somebody else. Number 5, and we're starting out strong here guys, it is the Halfling Catcher. So when they introduced this in Blood Bowl 16, I loved this positional. It is expensive, kind of. It feels expensive when you're buying a Halfling team. You want to keep your TV low normally, and the Halfling Catcher coming in at 55,000. Movement 5, Strength 2, Agility 3+, Passing 5+, Armor 7+, Dodge, Right Stuff, Stunty, sure. But it has Catch, and it has Sprint. So, when you are thinking about throwing a teammate, you kind of got a couple of different angles here. The first one is, I want to score a touchdown. So the beautiful thing here about the Halfling Catcher is it starts with catch. I know it's in the name and that seems really obvious, but the fact is, when you are doing a one-turn touchdown kind of situation, being able to hand off the ball to a Halfling Catcher, that catch reroll is going to be massive, because what it does mean is it means you've saved that reroll for later on. For example, when you are throwing a Halfling. So this guy gets thrown, he's landing on a 3+, spoiler alert, everything on this list lands on a 3+. I think that's appropriate. But the beautiful thing here is that yes, it's armor 4.5 or whatever it is, armor 7, so if it lands badly it's probably going to stay down. It's got sprint. So while it is movement 5, it can move 8 squares. So if you've got a 3-man boy who's throwing this guy 6 squares up, you can afford to drop 1 square back. Okay, so the odds are good that if you throw a scatter, it's going to be basically 1 forward, 1 back, 1 side to side. That makes a lot of sense. Basically, that means that this catcher has got really good chance to then be able to just run those 8 squares into the end zone. Okay, it gives you that kind of buffer, that 1 square backwards buffer that's going to be massively useful when it comes to the Halfling Catcher. And, you know, I'm a big fan of paratrooping, so dropping a dude into the backfield. Having that sprint, it just makes it 1 square faster. So that is why for me, I love the Halfling Catcher, and it is my number 5 thrown teammate. Number 4, we've got 4 goblins. There's 15 different types of goblins. This one counts them all. So my number 4 is goblins in their entirety. Movement 6, Strength 2, Agility 3+, Passing 4+, I think normally. Yeah. Dodge, Right Stuff, Stunty. Goblins are remarkably good for Stunty players. They really are. If you've played in a Stunty League environment with either the Fumble Stunty League or just a bunch of Stunty Leagues from standard Blood Bowl, goblins feel hench. And the fact that they can be thrown is ridiculous. And they have got movement 6. So we were just talking about the Halfling Catcher being really good because it can move 8 squares when it lands. These guys can just move 8 squares when they land anyway. They don't have to have sprint. It means they can get sprint. And the great thing about the goblins as well is that they are armor 8+. So if you fluff the landing, you've got 44% chance of breaking the armor at that point, which is really good. So you've got more than a half chance to survive impact with the ground, which is why I 100% recommend jump up when it comes to goblins. When it comes to goblins, just use jump up. Okay, you can now throw prone players. So the goblin falls over, I don't know what happens, you know, something bad happens, the goblin's prone, it's got jump up, throw it, doesn't even matter, just throw it, and then that goblin's going to pop up. And this is why goblins make absolutely superb paratroopers. They are one of the best stunty to chuck into the backfield to just harass your opponent, because a goblin is a great player. They are 40k, which is expensive for stunty, but they're going to be alright. Now, specifically when you're looking at goblins, there are a couple of goblins which are slightly better. So the Renegade Goblin, top draw. Okay, and the Underworld Goblins, again, where they have that access to mutation, it means that as they level up, Sure, jump up is great, but the fact is they can just take 2 heads, which means that these guys, once they are thrown into the backfield, they're 2+ everywhere forever, which is just phenomenally good. The other one to mention here is the Goblin Bruiser. Because it's got thick skull, it means that if you break the armor, it is more likely than not basically it's going to escape. So you've got the whole stunty thing where on a roll of a 9 they're badly hurt, but thick skull just kind of evens it out and makes them more resilient. So when it comes to goblins, you've got the vanilla goblins, you've got the thick skull goblins who are going to survive impact with the ground a little bit more, and you've got the mutated goblins who develop. But as a core, all goblins are equal, and they're my number 4. My number 3 is one of the most fun players in the game, which makes sense because it is the Snotling Fun Hopper. So that fun is for fungus, not just for fun, I'm assuming. However, they are incredibly fun. So for me, the Fun Hopper makes a better throw teammate target than the regular goblin. And the reason for that is these guys come in at 20k. They're movement 6, strength 1, agility 3+, passing 5+, armor 6+. They have got dodge, right stuff, sidestep, stunty, and pogo stick. So they are movement wise exactly the same as a goblin. We like that already. Armor wise, definitely not, but they've got the same agility, so there's the same chance to land properly, and when they do, they have got the same amount of movement as a goblin. But there are there's just two advantages here when it comes to the Fun Hopper. Because the Fun Hopper has pogo stick, you always have a cheeky 3+ fly away from the world roll. Okay, it's great rolling 3++, stunty dodges, which this guy also has. So you can put yourself in a situation where you get a choice to make a single 3+ roll to fly 2 squares. Okay, if you've got a team reroll, go for it, because that is going to be better than taking 2 3+ dodges. So you can get out of dodge a lot easier with the Fun Hopper, and the fact is it's got pogo. Because it's got pogo, it makes it such an incredible target for jump up as well. Okay, so not only are you likely to want to take jump up just to keep it around and doing stuff, because you're going to fail leap a lot, so it's not a terrible idea, especially if you're going to be paratrooping this into the backfield to just harangue people. Now, strength 1 makes it a worse paratrooper than the goblin. Goblins are just fantastic. They are basically linebackers compared to these guys. But the fact is, it is often much better to make a single 3+ roll than it is to make 2. Even if you've got that dodge reroll. Okay, you're rolling 3 dice with a dodge reroll. And if you've got a team reroll, you can put it away. You've got that leap ability, or the pogo stick ability, which has got no modifiers to it. Which means if you are going to be trying to score with a throw teammate, the Fun Hopper is just a superb candidate. It is risky. Throwing teammate is risky. Go watch the Theory Thursday where I slightly messed up the maths and some of it. It's still not great. And that is why this is just awesome. It already has those skills, and it's 20k. Okay, it's 40k once you give it a jump up, sure, but that is the price of a goblin. I love this. And I've got more Snotlings here. Number 2 for me is the Stilty Runner. So I love the Stilty Runner. Again, coming in at 20k. Movement 6. Strength 1, agility 3+, passing 5+, armor 6+, dodge, right stuff, sidestep, sprint, and stunty. This one goes on the list because it is as fast as a goblin. It's as agile as a goblin, literally as agile as a goblin. Right stuff, yeah. Has a cheeky bit of sidestep as well, which will come in every now and again, but not going to be massively useful when it comes to throw teammate. But the fact is, this piece comes in at 40k and starts with sprint. It is faster than a goblin. So if you want somebody to land there and run in the ball, if you fail the landing, it doesn't matter what your armor is. Okay? If you've got the ball on the Stilty Runner and you've got a ball on the goblin, they're both 3+ to land. 4+ if the pass isn't that great. Beyond that, it doesn't matter. At that point, the Stilty Runner has 1 more square of movement potential, which means when you do the scatter roll, you can afford to drop 2 squares back. You've got 13 squares to go. This one can move 9 squares. Let's just put that 9 squares, okay? So as long as you throw 4 squares up, it's going to be in a good spot. And that's the other beautiful piece here with the Stilty Runner. If you are willing to risk going for that quick throw, you can afford to quick throw with the Stilty Runner sometimes. And you're going to get a good scatter, because you only need to scatter 1 square for you still to be in scoring range of a 1-turn touchdown. So the Halfling Catcher has got sprint, it's got strength 2, does a good job. The Goblin does a superb job. The Fun Hopper has that leap potential. The Stilty Runner is just the fastest of everybody that we've seen so far because it starts with a potential movement of 9. And that is the reason why I'm pegging this guy as my number 2 throne player. Which brings up number 1, which has to be the Doom Diver. Okay, so the Goblin Doom Diver actually got nerfed in this edition. Can't remember how much it is now. I think it's something odd like 65k. I think it actually got a bit more expensive. And it lost the +1 to land. Doom Diver is now 60k. There you go, 60k, movement 6, strength 2, agility 2, 3+, passing 6+, makes sense. It's got stuff strapped all over it. Armor 8+, right stuff, stunty, and swoop. So this is a really tough one because it doesn't start with dodge. It doesn't start with dodge, and when you are doing a 1-turn touchdown, you are more likely than not going to need that dodge. However, it will score a couple of touchdowns, and all you need is a couple of touchdowns to get it dodge. And when it gets dodge, it goes from just the top of the list to in a league of its own. And the reason for that, guys, is it has swoop. And the massive difference here is that when you throw any other of these players, you have to roll the D8 scatter. You just have to hope, because it's 3 times. It can go back 3, it can go forward 3, it can go left 3, it can go off the pitch 3. Okay, that happens. Not with the Doom Diver. The Doom Diver legitimately will always go forward 3 squares. Not directly forward, it might go diagonally, but it will always get 3 squares further away from your thrower. And that does 2 things. The Doom Diver is movement 6. So let's say you are throwing your guy 6 squares. When it lands, it can then move 6 squares. It can then go for it 2 squares. Okay, so that's 6, 12, 14. It also gets thrown an additional 3 squares for life. That is 17 squares. That is 4 squares south of the line of scrimmage. This player has the furthest reach of any player in the game. It needs a bit of help with that accurate throw teammate, and it needs to land, sure, but that's getting it an extra 9 squares. That is like a Doom. It's like a genuine, just like a Goblin being picked up by a gutter runner who runs down the pitch, drops the Goblin off, and lets the Goblin run in. Swoop is huge, and yes, this guy does not have dodge, and that's gonna be tough. But when it gets dodge, it's gonna be awesome. Because you've got those, you've got to do it. Now it does make it a really risky procedure. Okay, you've got to use those rerolls on making that throw happen. But when you are in the backfield, unless your opponent has literally deployed for 1-turn touchdown, you've got up to 8 squares to run around and find a way into the end zone. And you are already probably 9 squares closer to the end zone. Alright, so if your troll is on the line and it throws your Doom Diver, that Doom Diver has then got 4 squares to score a touchdown and 8 squares of movement to do it. So assuming you land okay, you can probably get away with a cheeky 1 dodge, go back, run around, there's your touchdown. Do it twice, then you've got dodge, and you are absolutely winning at life. So it's tough, and every single one of these players is awesome. The Halfling Catcher coming in at number 5 is an insult because that player is awesome. They need 4 on that team. They just need more, right? The Halfling Catcher is amazing. The Underworld Goblin is just phenomenal. Standard Goblins are just brilliant, and the Bruisers are awesome. That Thick Skull is just underrated beyond belief. Then, you know, you've got the Stilties, you've got the Fun Hoppers, who are 20k each. Just 20k for a player that can just leap over others on a cheeky 3+, move 9 squares. Snotlings, again, underrated. And the Doom Diver has always been, since it got introduced anyway, the best throw teammate, and it got nerfed. And for me, it is still number 1. Yes, it doesn't have dodge, but it's going to get dodge real quick because this guy can traverse, how many squares did we say? 6, 9, 15 before, yeah, 6, 9, 15, 16, 17 squares. I'm a Skaven coach, and I've never done that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I love these top 5s. So we'll come up with something clever for next week, and we'll get your thoughts on it as well. So I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much, and let me know what you think of this list, who I've missed, and let's hope that Games Workshop keeps coming up with some great stunty players because just insanely fun. Anyway, guys, Happy dodging. Thanks very much for watching, we really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.